This is your week 23 vocabulary, which matches your picture book on Henry, or how he is commonly known as Hank Aaron. The first word you have is daunted, and it actually pairs with the picture book, but it's from a poem. It's hard to be an elephant. But we have the word daunted, and you can see the visual. The emoji looks as if the face looks worried, concerned. And when you look at the sentence, it says, I'm drawn to the piano, the word but. I'm daunted when I play. So drawn, making us think this individual wants to play. But the contrasting word but lets us know that something happens. So daunted, even though this individual wants to play the piano, but daunted when he or she plays. So something within this individual causes the individual to feel worried or possibly even nervous. So that goes with daunted. Okay? So once this person reaches something he or she wants to do, something overwhelms them and makes them daunted before one can perform. With this slide, we have two vocabulary words, and they pair quite nicely, and not only that, they pair well with the previous word. We have the word plagued, and when you see the emoji looks concerned and perplexed and baffled all at the same time, like something is holding them back. I don't know what it is that could possibly be holding the emoji back, but it's almost like something is over them, hanging over them, and this emoji does not know what exactly to do. So when you look at the sentence, I'm plagued by peculiar, purely pachydermal plight. Okay, so we have some alliteration there, and we also have the next vocabulary word plight there. So I'm plagued by this strange situation, and it causes me a plight. Okay, so pairing some of the connotation that we know so far about daunted and now plagued, this doesn't seem very positive, does it? Definitely not positive. It's taken on a negative type of connotation. So plagued, again, something that may be interfering and causing this strange, peculiar thing that could only happen in a pachydermal plight. And if you didn't already know, a pachyderm is another word for an elephant. So they've added the AL suffix and made it pachyderm, the noun of an elephant, and changed it to an adjective. So only elephants could have this what? Plight. So when we go down here to the word plight, and you see this fella has been fired, that would create what? A problem. So we have the words daunted, plagued, and plight working together to create meaning in the poem It's Hard to Be an Elephant, which will pair nicely with some of the text we're synthesizing or merging together this week. The words on this page specifically come from our picture book we will examine this week on Henry Hank Aaron and his long road to reaching his dream. And the first word we encounter is persevered. And when you look at the visual, it says, push through this. The reward is worth it. So you're having to overcome something. If you're pushing through something, then you're working through it, and it will be worth the effort. So now let's look at the sentence. Even some of his own teammates refused. I'm going to underline that word refused to play ball with a black man, and through it all, Jackie persevered. Well, we have a connection here. Last week we read an article from Time Magazine concerning Jackie Robinson. So somehow Jackie Robinson is going to make an impact or be maybe a mentor to Henry Hank Aaron. So even though he had to overcome some obstacles and his own teammates refused to play, he persevered, even though. And though that word even again shows contrast. And so then you have through it all, Jackie overcame this. He persevered. Now I have this fun picture of the baby who looks quite transfixed and enthralled with something. The word is mesmerized. And when you read the next sentence, Henry was mesmerized. He watched his hero's every move. So it's talking about persevered and Henry's. When you consider Henry was mesmerized, he watched, and I have watched in heroes every move, then that lets us know, well, we can draw the conclusion that maybe Jackie Robinson was a major hero of Henry Hank Aaron, and maybe Jackie's effort to break the color barrier in baseball paved the way for people like Henry Hank Aaron to come in and also add to the work that Jackie Owens was already doing to not just break the color barriers in athletics, but in this country for the civil rights movement. Injustice. When we think about our country and our justice system, we like to think of justice as fair, and fair is not always equal. If you look at the balance scales in any courtroom in America, you're going to see these balance scales on equal billing. And knowing what we know about math and balancing scales, if the scales are found uneven, then one side has an overwhelming advantage over the other, so it's not justified, and you may have to keep putting weights down on the balance to finally make both sides equal, which is a great visual or piece of imagery or symbolic representation of the civil rights movement. It was definitely an injustice and unequal justice where there had to keep individuals had to keep putting more and more work into showing the plight of African American citizens and how they were owed these certain inalienable rights from our Constitution. So when we look at how it's used in the picture book, Henry Hank Aaron, the sentence reads, "At the peak of his fame, he followed Jackie Robinson's lead and began speaking out about the racial injustice he faced in baseball." So we go back and we know what Jackie Robinson did. He was definitely a civil rights leader by breaking the color barrier. We also know that he was a hero of Henry Hank Aaron, and so he followed suit by also speaking out against racial injustices in baseball and showing how all African Americans should be paid the same opportunity he and Robinson were allowed to do in their athletic career. In a previous week, or with a previous piece of text, we had the word surpass. I like to bring back review words so that we can see how they're used in other texts and how they could possibly have a different nuance or a different meaning that could possibly change just slightly. In this case, it's very similar. The visual I have chosen, you have a bar graph, and you can see how the information on the bar graph increasingly and increasingly gets better and better. And when you go to the sentence from the picture book, it says Hank Aaron went deep for the 715th time, surpassing Babe Ruth's all-time record. So I underlined the two words went deep paired together. 715th time and then record. So I know that they're referring to the all-time home run record of Hank Aaron, and when he broke Babe Ruth's all-time home run record. And surpassing, of course, means, succeeding, reaching that goal. And I think this picture shows that even for us as individuals, that if we start small and in increments we get better and better and better, not only are we going to reach our goal, but we're going to surpass our own goals and our own ideas and our own dreams and be the best that we can be. Use this video as many times as you wish in order to prepare for your quiz on Friday.